was just so incredible to me when I was doing it, and I had to really, really pay attention to stay in the treatment, was because when I went to certain techniques, like I did, pituitary, the tinkle tinkle of the brain changed, and then I did the pituitary and the hypothalamus link, and it changed, and then I went to the occipital and the music changed, and then I did the solar plexus and everything completely changed, and then I did the peace point and that it changed, and I really had to really concentrate on actually staying in the treatment, because the other part of my brain was going wow, wow, wow as I was actually doing the treatment and actually hearing the changes, because obviously I was trying to concentrate on the treatment and concentrate on my clients and everything, but part of me was hearing that it was actually responding at the time, and I found that extraordinary. So,
and what I of course found extraordinary is I don't have a clue what she's doing. So I'm watching the screen, and when I hear the tune change, I'm looking. That was why I was sort of looking about the brain a bit to see if I could find which circuit was it. But there was a global as well as a specific effect. And what I didn't go back to, which I showed you, was the network. I did that a bit because I'm sure we would have seen some changes in those networks, and they're critical parts of the brain.
So for me, that was amazing. So thank you so much.
No, it's a pleasure.
But you're delighted you came, aren't you?
I mean, it's just so fascinating to see the brain and the treatment going on at the same time, and being able to watch and see. I mean, as a reflexologist, that's mind blowing.
Yes.
Because we don't get the chance of access to this kind of equipment ever.
And we
And
want
the brain wasn't
to now
staying
follow it up
static
by
either, was it? It was dynamic, moving. Even though George was relaxed, I assume. I didn't ask him, but he looked relaxed. He didn't look stressed. And it was.
Yeah, I was relaxed.
Good.
So we now want to see what's happening with the alpha stim.
Yes, but
on.
on the
We need to switch equipment.
we do, but on the sensory motor strip as well. If you look at, first of all, before she touched him, it was red, and then she touched him and it shifted, and we had the emotional centre was still going. But towards the end, there was hardly any red left on that sensory motor strip, and that's one of the areas that comes straight. You remember the? I'm sorry, I don't want to talk down to you. Where it came up the brain stem, went over that little bit of blue. So we were looking at that area, but that way round, if you see what I mean. So that's.
So while
Yes.
Leslie
We're
sets
having
up
a cup
the
of tea,
equipment,
aren't
if you want a cup of tea, I just thought I might take the opportunity of just talking to you on a sort of slightly chakra-based
Oh, you carry on.
idea as well about what may or may not be happening on a chakra basis, because if you're into energy and chakras, as you know, there are 7 major chakras. So you've got the one at the top, which is your higher crown connection, your big grand connection, and then the next one down is your brow chakra, which is your intuition. The next one down is your throat chakra, which is your communication centre. Your internal, your external, your verbal, non-verbal, all the whether you do or you don't do is still communication. And then moving on down, you've got your heart, and then solar plexus, and then sacral, and then the root base. But the area that the brow chakra governs comes to your maxilla, and it comes round to your temporomandibular joint. So that's all to do with your connection with your intuitive self, which is the bit that I call it the radar, that keeps you on your track, that you can't always remember what the track is that you're on, but it is like your radar. And that comes down to your maxilla, and it goes up to the top of your temporomandibular joint. Whereas your throat chakra, which is your communication in every way with yourself and with others and the world and everything, is your throat chakra, and that governs your mandible, and that comes around also to your TMJ, your temporomandibular joint. So if you're going to put the alpha stim clips on your ear, and that's connecting all the way through, it's connecting these massive centres. So, is there anybody in the world who wouldn't benefit with a bit of a clearer connection to their intuitive, all-knowing, some people call it gnowing, G-knowing, the things that you know, but you don't know how you know, but you know. Yeah. So, you know, if it's going to help you to communicate your knowing, yeah, and communicate, your next one down is your heart, it's your love and your passions. And also, I've put this into the manual for you. It's a bit rude and rudimentary because I've been a bit fogged with my medication, but I've put down the corresponding connections. So your higher self, your higher connection, your crown chakra, automatically balances with your base chakra. So that ultimately is trying to balance itself all the time. So the next one down is your brow chakra, and that's always trying to balance with the next one up, which is your sacral chakra, which is your, what I call discernment centre. So it's the bit that is about how you decide what's right for you, and you filter life, and you say, so it's a bit like your bowels, you keep the stuff you need, you remove the stuff you don't need. But that's unique to everybody because nobody's ever been here like you before. So there is no grand plan for you because you haven't been here before. This is your life, your journey. So all the times we live by should and shoulditis, as I call it, yeah, the inflammatory disease, you are connecting in with somebody says. Well, how can somebody say? Because you've never tried it before. You're a new person trying a new thing. The only thing that does know is your intuition, which is connecting you to your big grand plan. So these two, your intuitive self and then your discerning self are the other connectors. They balance out. So obviously the alpha stim is now connecting in with that, helping you to be more in touch with your decision-making process and your filtering process and your awareness about who you are and what you are and why you are and what's okay for you. And then your throat chakra balances with the next one up, which is your solar plexus, which is the bit that I call the meanness of me. You know, it's sort of, you know, who am I? You know, how do I creatively be me? How do I bring my best self to me, to the world, and how, it's the bit where we deal with shocks or not. Yeah, depending on whether we think we have personal power or whether we've learned we have personal power or whatever. I don't know whether you're into the dancing, you know, the Strictly, I did anybody see Strictly on Saturday, and Take That were on. And their new record was about something to do with get out of your head and into your heart and nobody else can change your life or something. I was like, powerful message in there, powerful message. And if you've got very powerful parenting or upbringing or whatever that made you believe that you don't have power, somebody else has power, you lose that bit. Well, because these are connected through your wearing your alpha stim and getting you into that state, it may give you more confidence. And I personally, when I've been using the alpha stim in clinic, I have found that people find that it does give them greater clarity. It does give them greater confidence. I remember vividly one lady who came, she's a school teacher, and she was just trying to help the world. She was brought up to be what I would call a classic good girl. She'd got 1 million good girl ticks in her, you know, gold star book. Right, and she'd learned to help anybody and everybody, but she wasn't looking after herself. She puts the alpha stim on, right, she's got a clearer connection with her intuition, her brain is obviously getting all the benefits that we've got, she's communicating more effectively with herself and learning to say no occasionally, working out through sacral chakra, this is what I do need to do, this is what I don't need to know, being a bit more confident, right, and the transformation in that lady was amazing. Right, she bought herself a machine and I fortunately have not seen her since, and I know I would if she was in trouble. And for me as a practitioner, knowing that she's gone and she's okay is marvellous, because she's got something that she can do that she can help herself with. So I see on an energetic level that this is quite a remarkable system, because it is helping us. We've fantastically seen with what Leslie's doing, is it's helping us on a very cognitive and very, you know, scientific basis of actually helping you with your alpha. But on an energetic level, I think it's absolutely stunning, because it is helping to clear the fog, you know, help you to access your intuition and to communicate more effectively, and therefore be able to make decisions, feel more grounded, feel safer, etc. So I think it's got multi-uses, and I have put some of that. It was done while I was in a bit of a medication haze, but it is in your manual, and I have put into the manual all about this is what I do and this is how I use it, and these are the things that I say to people. So Leslie said something this morning which I heard and I want to reference again, which is, she said, maybe it was this afternoon, she said about being clear with people about whether they want to do it. And do you want to listen to how I've told you to do it? And if you do, then do it. But if you don't waste anybody's time. So I learned that myself with the support of Steve, of finding out there are people who actually don't believe it will work and don't want it to work, and they, you know, the thing I've noticed is that there are some people who are too sensitive. This is not Steve speaking, this is me speaking. They're just so vibrationally sensitive, which they perceive as a good thing, which is great. But then, I mean, there's a few people I can think of who've come to the clinic going, yes, I really want to try it, and have rejected it immediately and have been terribly poorly and every kind of thing. But actually, they keep having exactly the same thing. I'm now looking back, and the two people come to my mind, the same thing's happening, and it has been for 10 years.
And it's going to keep until they heal themselves.
And so there's something more going on, and Steve will know who I'm talking about, but there's more going on behind the scenes, and I'm not sure whether that is or isn't being addressed, and whether the time's right or it's not right, because nobody knows what's right for anybody else, only they know what's right for them. So I would agree with what Steve said, it isn't right for everybody, but those that it's right for, it's absolutely right for. And the reason I'm here talking to you today, because as you know on Saturday none of us thought I was even going to be here, is because I met a dog. And this dog is called Molly. And this dog is my lovely friend Debbie and Jeff's dog, who's a Pyrenean mountain dog, who was not socialised as a puppy. And so when she didn't learn the social skills, and she didn't learn to feel safe being around people and in life, so she was born and then had no care after that and had to make her own way. And she was fortunately adopted. You know, her mummy is now Debbie and Jeff, and they live in Ohio, and they have this massive dog compound outside, so they have a huge amount of area that they can be in. But Molly was so scared of life that she tried to bolt out of this really beautiful, safe compound, and was in danger of really badly hurting herself, or even doing worse than that. And we stayed with them for 8 days. And whenever Molly came in from the compound to go into the bedroom, George and I would go into the kitchen, and we would put our backs towards where Molly came in. We would deeply ground ourselves, go completely calm, say to Debbie it's okay, and then Molly would skulk in and dash to the bedroom, tail between the legs, terrified, along the floor. And the following day after we left, the veterinarian, it's America, had arranged for Molly to start with the Alpha Stim, because he'd been to a veterinary conference saying how this might help traumatised animals. Because as you know, this is really excellent for people who've got post-traumatic stress disorder. You've mentioned that today. You know, people who've been through every possible type form of tragedy. And so Molly was starting the day we left, and within weeks Debbie was saying to me, "See, you need to look at this." And I was a bit full with everything I was doing, and I couldn't think about it. And then she sent me a picture one day of Molly with her ears up and her tail up, and I'd never seen Molly with her tail up. Beautiful dog. And I was like, oh, maybe I do need to look at this. And then she told me again, you really, really need to look at this. The difference it's made to Molly is amazing. Molly loves it. She cuddles up next to me. She has the ear clips on her earlobe. She cuddles up to me in bed in the morning. She has it she used to have it for an hour, although they've now changed it to an hour or 20 minutes, depending on what they want. And that was, the last time was when I went, okay, I need to find out about it, and that's when I contacted Steve. Since then, I can happily report, and somewhere or other on, I don't know where it is, it might be on my notes or somewhere, that Molly is now doing fantastically well. It would take them 6 months to be able to introduce a new dog walker, because Debbie is at work sometimes and has to have a dog walker at lunchtime. It would take them 6 months of introducing a new dog walker before Molly would accept them. But that was only tolerate, and the new dog walker, Molly has actually sat on the legs of this, big dog, whether that was okay or not, I don't know. So the difference in Molly is quite astonishing, and so Molly, and that's why I actually call it Molly's Magic Machine. So that was how I was introduced to it, because if it can make a difference in a dog who doesn't know, but did know, and absolutely knows and sort of wants it, what difference can it make to human beings too? And I've seen no end of difference with my clients, and me personally, being very dyslexic, sometimes paperwork can overwhelm me. So I find that it's very helpful if I'm doing some difficult paperwork to put it on myself.
Excuse me everybody, that is with the Alpha Stim running.
That's okay.
Okay? And that's, and what you can see is even more impressively the increase in the low beta wave up to 73.
Wow.
The alpha you can see at 100, the delta's nice and rhythmic, and the